Live from the KHOU11 studios, it's Great Day Houston. And now, here's your host, Deborah Duncan.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Great Day. Okay, so, as you know, the last few days, weather-wise, have been beautiful. The birds are chirping, the bees are buzzing, and flowers, well, they're blooming. Basically, people, it is mating season, and love is in the air. That's a hint that our first topic today is mature in nature, so if you have little ones, you might want to send them to another room while we give you a chance to ask the therapist. And joining us with advice on your relationship issues, please welcome certified sex therapist Emily Diala. Hello. All right, so if you have questions for Emily this morning, you can call us now at 713-284-1055, 713-284-1055. For those of you in our studio audience, if you are a little embarrassed to ask the question, simply start out with, I have a friend who. And that usually works right there. All right, Emily, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Okay, so when we say sex therapist, I also want to make sure that people understand that you can deal with all kinds of relationship issues, but you have a specialization in sex issues as well.
That's right. I'm a licensed professional counselor as well as a licensed marriage and family therapist and then a certification in sex therapy. So it's just my area of specialization.
Now, when people hear sex therapist, they're thinking something I think completely different than what it really is. And so kind of explain what that involves.
So people come in usually talking about a kind of sexual issue, whether that's low desire, something like erectile dysfunction, but I kind of view my work as a detective in a lot of ways. I like to dig deep and find out what the underlying issues are. So, you know, someone may come in, but they have an underlying anxiety disorder or problems in their relationship or a history of trauma,
and all types of
low self-esteem. So there's lots of different factors that may be contributing to the problem.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, sex sometimes is used for every other reason but what it's there for.
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, so let's start with some things that we can do for people who've been married a while. You know, when you're dating, you're just going crazy, right?
Yes.
Birds and bees, anytime, any place, anywhere, people. But yes, there you go. There's the birds and the bees right there. But, you know, it's natural for that to kind of wane.
It is. You know, in the beginning of a relationship, things are very intense and they're hot and they're new and exciting. But over time, that intensity wears off a little bit and we enter into a more intimate phase in the relationship, which is wonderful. But as human beings, we crave novelties. So if things are feeling a little stagnant, I've got a list here of items I recommend that couples can do. So the first thing is try surprising your partner with something new. So it can be something more tame, like already having the bags packed ready to go in the car for a little weekend getaway, or something a little more exciting, like a new toy or a location or something like that.
Are you talking like Transformers or...
Not Transformers.
Xbox, something Xbox, okay. All right, okay, yes, okay. You know, it's funny because we all get embarrassed about things like that, but that's part of it's taking that embarrassment out, and especially here in the United States, we still are kind of on the back end of just really responding to sex in that way.
That's true, and these toys can be transformational in some ways, so I say give it a go.
And when there's a store on every corner, don't think somebody's not buying them, okay? Sit with your partner and make out a list of new things to try, both in and out of the bedroom.
Yeah, so this is kind of a fun activity you can do with your partner if you each get together and put together a list of note cards, and they can be something more exciting like what we just talked about, or something a little more tame, maybe, you know, trying out your favorite movie kisses or slow dancing to your wedding song, something like that that's a little more sentimental can help kind of bring the romance back.
You know, and something as simple as that. I remember when my husband and I were first dating, a song came on and he cleared my living room. He pushed back the sofa, he pulled back all the furniture and just started slow dancing with me, and I had never really, and I was like, oh no, oh, isn't that cute? And I was like, wow, okay.
Really sweet.
So it was because it was spontaneous, and that's the thing that you know, those little things like that, because I know oftentimes we think our men don't think about those little things. That one little thing, it didn't have to be a diamond, although I wouldn't turn one away. But, you know, those little things like that really can capture our heart. And, okay, speaking of when you said something about, like you know, trying out a movie kiss or something. Yeah. So I was with a group of girls the other night, my friends, and they were all jumping on, ask her this for me, ask her this for me. So one of them said, in fact, a guy, he said his wife is wanting him to be more like the leading men that she sees in her books. And he's like, okay, well, I haven't read the book. She's like, here they are, right here. But his point was, if you want me to be the leading man, then you better bring it on and be the leading woman. So, but that can be kind of fun, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you're feeling comfortable enough in who you are, then you have the freedom and the safety to maybe do a little role playing or something like that. And kudos to them for even opening up that line of communication, because a lot of people want that, but they're too afraid to share that with their partners. So they're already one step ahead of the game.
Yeah, when you said, opening up that line of communication, because we'll think things and what we like, but it's hard for us to actually say, could you?
Yeah, we haven't become mind readers yet.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Another friend said her husband's gained some weight, and that can go both ways. She's not quite as attracted to him as she was before. How does she bring that up without hurting his feelings?
You know, I think this is a really important point. You know, to an extent, it is what's on the inside that counts, but attractiveness is important as well. You know, we're very visual creatures, and so I think encouraging your partner maybe to go for a walk together or start an exercise plan together. There are even yoga studios who do couples yoga, and so that would be something, you know, you could add to the list that we were talking about before that can bring the two of you together again.
Because it's not always about the sex.
Right. It's not always about the sex.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. We have Barbara on the line this morning. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, Deborah.
What's your question, family?
I am 52 years old, and I'm going through menopause, and I have lost my desire, my sexual desire.
Which is a
I don't
very
think
normal thing.
I don't think about it anymore, you know, and I just wanted to know if that's normal or what I can do about it, if there's a magic pill I can take or something.
Oh, yes, there is.
There's not quite the magic pill yet. Believe me, the pharmaceutical companies are working on that. But lowering your desire as you're going through menopause is perfectly normal. You know, it is impartially due to the hormonal changes that you're experiencing, but you may be also gaining weight, and so you may not feel as comfortable in your body, or if you're having mood swings, that could impact your relationship. So it's important to take a look at the big picture and see what all factors may be contributing to that.
And really important. You're right. Menopause and hormones go hand in hand. We have a decline in all kinds of hormones that really impact our desire. A little bit of testosterone. Not that I'm a doctor. All right. Get your thyroid right. Once you get those hormones balanced out, it kind of puts you back in that area. So just go see your doctor, OBGYN, or your doctor who deals with hormones. Okay. Some email questions that we have here from Nick. Nick says, is it true that promiscuous people are really crying out for help, or could it just be that they enjoy sex more than the average person?
The answer is yes. It could just be that they enjoy sex more than the average person. You know, I always tell people nothing is a problem until it's a problem. You know, if someone like this is really wanting a long-term, committed, monogamous relationship, but they're still acting, promiscuously, then there's something to, maybe look at in regards to that. But otherwise, if that's the kind of lifestyle that you choose and you're among consenting adults, I say anything goes.
You're just a loving person.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we have Eddie on the phone this morning. Good morning, Eddie. Eddie, are you there? Eddie.
Diane, Edie.
Edie. Oh, Edie. Okay, Edie, what is your question?
The question is, what about couples with a man with ED, erectile dysfunction? What about that pump? Does that pump work?
So, thank you for asking that question.
What is this about the pump here?
Can the pump work for erectile dysfunction?
All right, I'm learning things this morning.
Yes, for men who suffer from ED, if there's not an underlying psychological issue, then the pump is a good solution, especially if other types of drugs like Viagra or Cialis aren't working, then that's something that, and there are high-quality ones that can be prescribed by a physician, so I would recommend that rather than just going online and finding something yourself.
Yeah, I got to be very careful going online, but then some other things to look at. If somebody has type 2 diabetes, for example, those are types of things that can impact that as well.
Definitely.
Okay, we have Susan. Good morning, Susan.
Yes, hi. I wanted to ask the therapist a question.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to ask her, if I wanted to use a toy, how do I not insult my boyfriend? Because sometimes it takes a toy for me to get my orgasm.
Yes, to make you happy. Okay, so it just takes a little extra help, a little accessory.
So there's nothing wrong with that. If your boyfriend is insulted, then he may have his own ego or self-esteem issues to work out, and that's really not uncommon for women to kind of rely on a little something extra to get them there, especially as maybe you're aging or hormone levels are changing, you're not becoming as aroused, and there's so many great items on the market that you can incorporate into your sex life. And so I always tell people you're responsible for your own orgasm. So whether that's communicating to your partner what you need, or utilizing a toy, something like that, then you do what you got to do.
I'm going to end with this last email question from Ann. It says, why do men separate sex from commitment so easily, while women naturally want our men to commit fully before we take it to that level?
So that's a pretty loaded question. You know, there are a lot of factors that could be contributing to that and different theories. You know, one would be looking back in the evolution model that sometimes, you know, that could be coming into play. But I think a lot of it has to do with the society that we live in now. You know, it's just more socially acceptable for men to kind of be more non-monogamous than women and to be able to make that separation.
Is it kind of how they're wired? Are they kind of wired to go out and procreate?
And women, so that kind of goes back.
You know, it just seems like they're, you know, the female,
right?
And women, we want to have this relationship, and sometimes just because we had sex the first time, we think we're ready to walk down the aisle.
Right.
You know, we kind of give it a different meaning sometimes than I think men might.
Absolutely, yeah.
Men see it as courting, women see it as marriage.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Emily, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We just want to kind of open the door that if you're having any issues, to certainly have some communication. And, of course, the other thing is that if you're having some major problems, to seek help with a therapist, a third party who understands. All right, well, hopefully this does open the door for conversation, because as any good therapist will tell you, communication is the key to a good relationship. If you'd like more information on Emily's relationship tips, just log on to our site at greatdayhouston.com. Let's get to our Facebook question of the day. What is the sexiest trait in a mate? Is it intelligence, a sense of humor, looks, or power and money? Isn't power and money the ultimate aphrodisiac, they say? Well, if you have something you want to add, by all means, let us know. Emily, out of curiosity, for you?
For me, you know, I think confidence and intelligence is really important.
Yeah.
Okay. I know confidence wasn't on there, but I added
it. No, confidence, intelligence, and if they look good, it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Okay. When we come back, we're taking flight with one of the most majestic scenes in nature, the journey of the monarch butterfly.